Good day, good day. Good day to all. Today is December 9th, 2024, according to the Gregorian calendar. So, this is an article by Newsweek, just published 2 hours ago. Hundreds of vials of deadly viruses missing after lab breach. So we're going to get into this article, see what they're talking about. Hundreds of vials containing live viruses have gone missing from a laboratory in Australia, sparking an investigation. Queensland Health Minister Tim Nicholls announced today that 323 samples of live viruses, including Hendra virus, Lyssa and hantavirus, went missing in 2021 in the serious breach of biosecurity protocols. The breach was discovered in August 2023 with nearly 100 of the missing vials containing Hendra virus, which is deadly. 2 of the vials contain hantavirus, while 223 vials contain samples of Lyssa virus, whichever way it's pronounced. Okay, so now my question is this, because this article is only, they put this article out just 2 hours ago. My question is, if the breach happened in 2021, and if we went missing in 2021 and the breach was discovered in August of 2023, why are they just now saying something about it? You know? I think it's weird they're just now saying something about this. But let's continue. Hendra virus was first discovered in the mid-1990s after infecting and killing several horses in Australia. Only a handful of humans have caught the disease after being infected by horses, but a large proportion of infected people perished. Hendra virus has a 57% fatality rate in humans and has had a devastating impact on those who have been infected, their families, and on the veterinary and equine industries in areas where the virus spills over. Raina Plowright, a professor at the Department of Public and Ecosystem Health at Cornell University's College of Veterinary Medicine, previously told Newsweek. Hantavirus is carried by rodents and can cause hantavirus pulmonary syndrome, which has a mortality rate of around 38%, while Lyssa virus is similar to rabies and also has a very high mortality rate. The lab has not been able to conclude if the viruses were destroyed or removed from secure storage, but they do not appear to have been stolen. There's nothing to suggest that these have been taken from the laboratory. Secondly, we don't have any evidence that Hendra virus has been weaponized in any way in any research laboratory, Nicholls said at a press conference. Of course, all this kind of research is taken in secret, but we are not aware that this has been weaponized in any way. The process of weaponizing a virus is very sophisticated and is not something an amateur does. The samples appear to have gone unaccounted for after a freezer they were being stored in at Queensland's Public Health Virology Laboratory broke down. It's this part of the transfer of those materials that is causing concern, Nicholls said, as reported by local news ABC. They were transferred to a functioning freezer without the appropriate paperwork being completed. The materials may have been removed from that secure storage and lost or otherwise unaccounted for. According to a statement from the Queensland government, there is no evidence of risk to the community from the breach, as the viruses would have degraded very quickly and subsequently become harmless to humans. That just don't sound right to me. It's difficult to conceive of a scenario whereby the public could be at risk, Queensland Chief Health Officer John Gerard said in a statement. It's important to note that virus samples would degrade very rapidly outside a low temperature freezer and become non-infectious. Gerard notes that the samples were incredibly unlikely to have been thrown away in general waste and were probably destroyed in an autoclave as per usual lab protocol. Importantly, no Hendra or Lassa virus cases have been detected among humans in Queensland over the past 5 years, and there have been no reports of hantavirus infections in humans ever in Australia, Gerard explained. An investigation into the breach has been initiated, which hopes to find out exactly how these viruses went missing and what prevented the discovery of the breach for nearly 2 years. With such a serious breach of biosecurity protocols and infectious virus samples potentially missing, Queensland Health must investigate what occurred and how to prevent it from happening again, Nichols said in a statement. The Part 9 investigation will ensure nothing has been overlooked in responding to this incident and examine the current policies and procedures in operation today at the laboratory, he said. I'm advised Queensland Health has taken proactive measures since discovering the breaches, including retraining staff to ensure ongoing compliance with required regulations and an audit of all relevant permits to ensure accountability and correct storage of materials. Now that's the end of the article, but yeah, reading this article, none of it sound right to me. Right? If these viruses were missing in 2021 and the breach wasn't discovered until 2023, 2 years later, weird. Again, that's weird, right? And then they just now coming out with this publicly right now. Again, this article I'm reading from Newsweek is just 2 hours old. So why now? Why say something now? You know, all kind of things happen without the public knowledge. You know, without us knowing anything about it. I just find it weird that a laboratory that have vials of deadly viruses, and the viruses all of a sudden go missing, right? Go missing. And they can account for over 323 samples, right? And we have so much going on today as far as viruses, you know, bird flu and all these type of different viruses. And that's what I thought of when it mentioned about in this article about the Hendra virus, right? People being affected after being infected by horses, right? That made me think of you know, of one of these about the bird flu, right? Because mosquitoes. There was certain mosquitoes that fed on birds, and then you had other different species of mosquitoes that would then transfer that over to horses, right? I did a video on this. Check back in my previous videos. I did a few videos talking about this, where I read articles and put out the details. So check back in my previous videos. But I just find it weird that something just don't seem right to me, you know. And they trying to spin it as if you know, maybe these vials of deadly viruses were destroyed or thrown away, or oh well, they got to be kept in a freezer. If not, you know, they just quickly die. There's no threat to the public, and I think that's nonsense. That don't sound right to me at all. You know, that just don't sound right to me, right? You got the Hendra virus, where people in the mid 90s caught the disease after being infected by horses, right? Hantavirus is carried by rodents. So how are they saying that the virus can't survive out of the freezer? I just don't I don't understand that part, right? If one of these viruses is carried by rodents, right? What's the temperature of a rodent? The internal temperature of a rodent, you know? But this is the sick and twisted and wicked society that we are living in these days. We're all kind of these devils are doing all kind of wicked activities and experiments, right? And then they spread it, and then they spread them. They spread it, and it's the people who suffer, right? Because we don't know what's going on. But just add this to the list of something to be to think about, especially again with these other viruses that we have been dealing with, the public has been dealing with in these recent years, and that's ongoing right now, right? Add this to the list. It's definitely something to think about. This is an important piece to the puzzle, I think, right? On why some of this stuff is being spread today. So many different viruses is going on right now, right? Monkeypox and the different varieties of bird flu, right? So this is a piece to the puzzle right here. And again, I question why are they saying something about this right now, right? So stay tuned. Stay tuned. We will be keeping an eye on this, and you know, and we'll look for more pieces to the puzzle, and let's see if we can solve this and get a clear picture as to what's happening and why these things are happening, right? And what can we do, and what do we need to do in order to protect ourselves and our families and our loved ones, right? From the activities that these devils are doing, these mad scientists, these evil, wicked, mad scientists. This is King B News and Views. Thanks for tuning in. Stay aware, stay alert. Let's share the information, right? Let's have important conversations. Love yourself unconditionally. Keep your loved ones close. Protect the children, the babies, our children, our babies, our women, right? That's real important because our children, our babies, and our women are under attack. I can't say that enough because it's true. And every day there's multiple stories that's out, and it can be kind of draining. I mean, there's so much wickedness going on. For those of you who have school-age children, really, really think and consider about homeschooling your children if you can. Because these predators are out there, and they're targeting our children. They're targeting your children. Um, I'm at a point in life. All of my children are adults and grown, so I don't. But for those of you who have young children, and you still send them to these schools, really, really consider homeschooling your children if you can. If homeschooling is not an option, then do your best to be active in the school that your child go to. Show up there and see what's going on. Visit your child's classroom. Try to be there, try to be present as much as you can, because I'm telling you right now, there's so many stories that's coming out of teachers and school staff um, targeting children, you know, and is just pure wicked. The children and our babies are under attack. So when I speak, and this is why I end my videos the same way, each and every video. For those of you who have babies and you taking your babies, your 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds, you take them to these daycares. Be careful with that too. Be careful. Because and this is why it's important to stick together as a family. Do your best don't quit on each other. Do your best to stick it out. You have a child, a man, a woman have a baby, bring a baby into this realm, into this world. First of all, if you're gonna lay down together, it should be if you really love each other unconditionally. But a lot of people have recreational sex. They don't love each other at all. It's just lust. And then they bring a child into the world and find out that they can't stand each other. And who suffer? The babies suffer. The child suffer. Right? That's why you see these stories out of somebody going to jail, they fighting and carrying on, and it's the children that suffers. Right? Because two people who didn't care nothing about each other, who just wanted to have recreational sex, opened up a portal and brought a baby into this world. And they don't love each other at all. And then they want to find out later on they can't stand each other. But if you love each other, there's always going to be a storm. The storm is always going to come, because the relationship have to get tested. Everything down here we go through is a test. Your relationship is going to get tested, but if you have love for each other, if you really love each other, you need to stand together, stick together, and ride that storm out. Ride that storm out, and the sun will shine again, and you'll be stronger for it. You'll be better for it. Right? You have a baby, take care of that baby. One of you you're working, you can offset your schedule so that one of you is always there with that baby, with that young one. It's important. So for those of you who you got a baby, little one, and you take them to these daycares, you got to be real careful with that. And even in these days we're living in with this wickedness, you even got to be careful with family members. There's some of you out there that think about these things I'm talking about, is well aware, and say, okay, well, I have a family member, or a friend of the family, someone I grew up with, even, or a family member watch my child, my baby for me while I, go out there, take care of my business so I could pay these bills or whatever. You even got to be careful with that, right? You can't even trust some of your family, unfortunately, right? Because it's more than just, you got to look at, again, and I've said this before in other videos, you have to look at, you got to have a spiritual eye. Your spiritual eye have to be open. You got to be able to see past the physical. Go beyond and see past that family tie. What spirit is inhabiting that physical vessel? Right? Just think of it when you look at a body, think of it like a car or a vehicle. Who's driving that vehicle? Who's steering that ship? Right? This is what you need to find out. This is what you have to see. You got to be able to feel and see the energy. Right? Learn to look past the physical body. Look past that physical tie. Right? That's why you see stories now. How many stories out there right now as I'm talking in this video of you know of someone being unalived by their son or their daughter or their father or their mother, or all kind of wickedness. And you think, how can that happen? Because someone was looking and saying, well, that's my mother, or that's my father, or that's my daughter, or that's my son. I love my son, I love my daughter, or I love my mom or dad or whatever, or that's my brother, or that's my sister. They're not going to do nothing to me. That's my family. Next thing you know, they're gone. Right? You got to look past the physical body, the physical vessel, and look past that family tie. Whatever title it is. What spirit is steering that ship, that vessel? Because your body is a vessel, your body is a ship, your body is a temple. Your body is a temple. Right? What God is sitting on a throne inside of that temple? That is the physical body. Because there's multiple gods. You know this because in the Old Testament, right, it's written, I am a jealous God. Right? I am a jealous God. Do not worship any other gods before me. There are multiple gods. So ask yourself these questions. Right? What God is sitting on the throne inside of that temple that is the physical body that you're looking at? What spirit is steering that ship, controlling that ship, that vessel? That is the physical body. This is what you got to think about now. When you're dealing with other people, no matter who it may be. Again, a friend, a family member, a stranger, a teacher, a police officer, right? A doctor, a nurse, whoever it may be, a family member. It don't matter. These are the questions you need to ask yourself. And you got to know what to look for. But in order to know what to look for, you got to be in tune with yourself and doing the work inside of yourself. Because we are living in some dangerous, dangerous times out here. And you got to know how to move accordingly. But in order to know how to move accordingly, you have to be going within yourself. Stop looking outside of yourself. Right? Because everything you need, you already have. Look inside of yourself. Go within and do that work. So that you can see. You can be aware. Your eyes will open up and you can truly see who's who. All right? This is what you have to do. Whoever's listening to this video. Right? And whoever's listening to this video, if you listening, is meant for you to hear these words. I know this video is about this article about deadly viruses, and I done went on to something else, but this is just what's on my. This is what my energy had led me to say. Because I know someone who's listening need to hear this. Right? Go within yourself. Stop looking outside of yourself to some deity. Go within yourself and discover the true living, who you will refer to as, so many refer to as God. Right? Go inside of yourself and connect with that source, the all of all creation. Stop looking outside of yourself. Okay? Because so many is being misled. Right? So many. Because they're looking outside of themselves and wondering why things are happening, wondering why there's so much wickedness. And then think about that. With all these religions, all of these religions, millions and millions upon billions of people, right? Call themselves whatever, Christians, whatever, pick one. There's billions. But yet there's so much wickedness in this society. Right? All over the world. How about right here in America? There are all these Christians. Why there's so much wickedness here then? Trafficking, organ harvesting, all this wickedness happening. All these people go to some type of church, millions of people. But yet there's all this wickedness and suffering. People sleeping out on the streets, right? Women, children, mothers with small children, homeless, out in the street. The elderly out in the street, in the cold, or in the heat. Young people, teenagers, nowhere to go, right? Wondering where they're going to get their next meal. Huh? Look around you. Oh yeah, all these people who call themselves whatever, Baptist, Protestant, Catholic, whatever you want, whatever religion, pick one. There's so many. And yet we got all this suffering. How? All these people, folks, praying to who? And yet you got all this suffering? Something's wrong. Something is wrong. And if you can't see that, then I don't know what to say. But something is wrong. And I knew this since I was about 4 years old. Since I was about 4 or 5 years old, I knew something was wrong. And I'm not the only one. There's some of you who know exactly what I'm talking about. When you look around, you look at this society, the society we're living in, something is wrong. It's really, really wrong. We've all been living a lie. Because this life, first of all, this is not life. We're not living. We don't know how to live. Just like we don't know what real food tastes like. We don't know what real water feels like, real water tastes like. I believe I spoke about this before. I watched a video where, or I believe it was either a video or article I read where this scientist, and I forgot what country, I believe a country in South America, I think it might have been Peru, if I'm not mistaken. But they climbed up this mountain in Peru, I believe it was Peru, and they discovered this water, and just being near the water on top of this mountain, just standing next to it, not going in it, not putting their hands in it, Just standing next to this water, right? The water had an effect on them, on their energy, because the scientists had a machine that they can see, you know, read in this machine, read energy, and the water had an effect on the energy. It healed them, right? That's real water. We don't know what this crap that's coming out of this pipe has got so much chemicals in it. You take your bath, you take a shower, you think you're clean, you're not really clean for real. You cook with it. Some is drinking this, drink this water because they can't afford to buy water. Even the water that you go in the store and buy, a lot of this water, bottled water, is really tap water for real. So you gotta be careful what you're buying when you're buying your water. So I'll end it with this, just like the late great Marvin Gaye sang in this song. This ain't living. This ain't living. No, 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 no. Right? I agree with Marvin Gaye. This ain't living. Right? He sung that song in the 70s, and it's true still to this day. This ain't living. Right? But we got to wake up and get ourselves out of this so we can learn how to live and can finally live for real and be alive for real. This is King B, News and Views. Thank you for tuning in. To the next video, I'm gone. Peace.